This video is going to briefly look at speaking in the workplace and what that entails. So, although it's not considered exactly public speaking, speaking in the workplace still fits into the public speaking sphere because you are speaking to other people and you want to have good communication skills while you're speaking. So speaking in the workplace could be even talking with a small group. So small group communication is 3 or more people, and almost always automatically the people within a small group take on different roles without even assigning those roles to each other. There's almost always a leader, so someone that kind of takes charge of the meeting. There's almost always someone that's more task-oriented, someone that's like taking down notes and writing down questions and writing down what they're going to do next. And another person is almost always social-oriented. They might be coming up with the ideas, doing a lot of the talking during the meeting, whereas someone that's task-oriented might be a little more quiet and focus on what everyone else is saying. There's different types of workplace speeches that you may or may not have to do at some point during your lifetime. So this can include training sessions where you're going to train coworkers, your bosses, new workers at where you're working at. This still requires you to have good communication skills because you're actually teaching someone how to do something. Another type of workplace speech is proposals. So this could be a proposal that you are giving to your boss, to your coworkers. This kind of slides into the next one, which is sales pitches. So you might be giving a proposal or a pitch to a customer, another business. And the last one is reports. So you might have a report that you compiled that you need to convey that information to your coworkers, to your boss, or to, again, another business. So you have to take the written word and graphs and numbers and charts and find a verbal way to convey that information to an audience. And I'm also going to put job interviews under speaking in the workplace. So even though it's not public speaking, a lot of the skills that we learn in public speaking you can use in a job interview. Especially nowadays where employers usually use a behavioral interview tactic. And this is when they ask the candidates about their past behavior to predict future work-related outcomes. So they might ask questions along the lines of describe a conflict that you had with a coworker in the past and how you dealt with that conflict. Describe a mistake that you made in the workplace and how you overcame it. And what you learned from it. So those types of questions that can be a little hard to answer, but they're looking to see how you responded in that situation and how you respond verbally to the question. When you're given this type of behavioral interview question, the best thing to do is to explain the situation and task thoroughly. So if I'm going to use the example of if you were asked a situation that you had a conflict with a coworker. So say you had a conflict with a coworker, you're going to explain what the conflict was about, maybe what the task was that was at hand, and next you're going to describe what you did in response to this conflict, and then describe the result in detail. So what happened because of your actions. Another part of the interview process, a lot of times you might have an initial interview that's like on the phone, something that's like really brief to just get to know you a little bit, and usually might be with a human resource person. And then you'll have an interview maybe with a selection committee or multiple people and or whoever is going to be your supervisor. And the selection interview is the more in-depth interview. Some of the things that you want to make sure that you do is that you dress professionally. This goes for if you're going to have a Zoom interview as well. Today, a lot of interviews are done via like Zoom or Teams, so they're done online. So you want to make sure that you still, even though you're not physically meeting the people that are interviewing you, that you're still dressed appropriately. Before the interview, you should research the company, be familiar with the history and the mission, be familiar with the position that you are applying for. If you are meeting online or on the phone, try to find a quiet space in your house. If you have to, go outside. I wouldn't recommend, say if you have a house full of people, having your interview in the living room where everyone can, walk by. So try to find a quiet place. And even if you have to go, say, out to your car or outside, it's better to have that quiet place where you can concentrate and they can hear you. Make sure that you have a reliable Wi-Fi connection so that you're somewhere that your phone or your computer is going to connect to the internet. And a big thing after the interview, you should send thank you emails to the potential employer. So it could just be a quick email thanking them for their time, letting them know you're still interested in the position, and it really helps. It makes you stand out in the interview process. So these are just some tips for when you do have a job interview.